Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tells podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host.
Karen.
And we're live on a Monday, ready to do some podcasts. And the official weapon of the show is
the ponytail.
And the unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
The bullet ball, extreme. Find us wherever you get podcasts. Leave us 5-star reviews. We saw people were leaving some. Thank you. Appreciate y'all 5-star reviewers, the real MVPs.
The real MVPs. It don't cost you nothing. And renew it. If you left one a while ago and you was like, I had re-up.
Another thing I want to point out that, and I'm sending out the email soon, but it's about time for our African American Friday sale. So for those that don't remember, it's been a while since you signed up or whatever, I'll run through the spiel real quick, but we'll probably have to do this a few times. The first thing is, if you already have signed up in the last year or so for Black Friday, it will automatically renew, meaning it will come out of your PayPal account. It's $100 for the whole year. You get everything behind the paywall, all the new shows, all the spin-off shows, all that stuff. And we do quite a bit, like it's balls deep. It's the pregame. You get your spoiled movie reviews the day we review them. You don't have to wait a month like the other people.
Lip smacking good.
Yeah, lip smacking good. There's live recordings that we do on Crowdcast. You'll get an email inviting you to the live recording. So there's people that hang out and watch us talk with Justin about sports. There's people that hang out and watch us hang out with all our nerd friends for the nerd off. Mm-hmm. And I, not to toot our own horn, but that's what this segment is, right? I will put our spinoff shows against anybody's main shows, yes, even in the genre I'm talking about. So like, I don't just say Balls Deep Sports is a good sports podcast show. I think it's a good podcast that could go against anybody, Dan Le Batard. You know what I mean? Like, I really feel like just because we're not putting it out there for everybody to hear, you may not think it's that quality or that fun or whatever. Well, you're wrong. It is. We don't half-ass nothing over here. And so that's the thing. And I'll be sending out the email to everybody who's already signed up. I'll be putting posts on our blog, posts on our websites, posts on our social media. We're going to be pumping this thing. If you have any problems signing up, any issues, technological or whatever with the website, always email me, theblackguywhotips@gmail.com. I will walk you through it. We'll figure it out. And also, if you want to cancel, if you don't want to renew and you can't figure out you should be able to do it on PayPal. But if you can't figure it out, people email me sometimes for that. I'll try to help you out as much as I can to make sure that you can, we don't want anybody paying for something they don't want to pay for.
Agreed.
This isn't a grift. We work for our money.
Right. And we also understand things change. Sometimes you ain't got the 5, completely get that.
Yeah.
And also, if you ain't got the 5, go to Spotify and sign up for the whole 5.
See, when you say stuff like that, you gotta give them the details.
My bad.
You can't just say it. It's so
bad sales pitch.
It's always Spotify has a tier. We call it just the tippers. It's $5 a month. You get one bonus show per week, and it's random, so it's not always the same show. And we're really just giving you a taste test of what's behind the paywall. Sometimes it's Balls Deep Sports. Sometimes it's the Nerd Off. Sometimes it's a movie review, like we just watched the Marvels and you got the Marvels the day it came out. So stuff like that you can do there. But yeah, I'll make sure to send everybody, we'll really be pushing this thing, but it's something, put it on your mind, put it on your heart. If there's a fan you want to gift a donation to or gift a membership to or something, email me. We can work that out as well. But yeah, it'll be the end of this month when it starts, Black Friday. But just wanted to let everybody know. All right. Now, I guess we should get into some segments. The first one being banter. All right. Someone in the chat room asked, Is it the sale starting now? No, not yet. It'll be a couple weeks because that's when African American Friday comes around. But we'll be updating you in every place that we update, including on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, banter time. Karen, did you have any banter to do? No. Okay, it's cool. We not forcing it. Okay, we already know Sierra she don't want all that.
I say I do have something that we kind of talked about this when we did last week about. I would love for there to be achievements for doing, like, personal achievements for doing adult things. For those of you that don't play video games, particularly if you play like Xbox Live, they have like a set of goals, and as you reach these goals, as you playing, you hear something but like beep beep. It's like a beep or a ding or something that kind of rings through your speakers to let you know that you got the achievement. And depending on the achievement, it could be 5 points, 25 points, 150 points, 250. You know, it kind of varies. And I wish in your adult life, if you accomplish something, I wish you could like have an achievement that pop up above your head that let you know that you have accomplished something. And like I said, mine would probably be you got out of bed when your alarm first got off and you didn't have to hit the alarm to snooze more than once. That is an achievement for me.
Yeah, I love the Xbox achievements. Like, and if you know, with Microsoft owning Xbox and Xbox being like this own little system, I have like the app on my phone. I have the stuff on my computer. And I love when I achieve something and the TV makes the sound, and then my computer makes the sound, and then my watch makes the sound, and my phone makes the sound. I'm like, yes, I power wash the shit out of that in Power Wash Simulator, or I beat the boss or whatever. And if you play video games as much as I do and as in depth as I do, I love when I get a rare achievement where it's like only 5% of people that play this game got this.
Yes, and I love it. And
I wish life was like that, is what I'm saying.
Me too. And the thing is, we have different systems, and sometimes I be forgetting everybody ain't like Xbox. And it like sometimes you play stuff, and particularly if you play the same game on multiple systems, you go, oh, I'm supposed to get an achievement. Then you go, oh yeah. Or either if the achievement pops up, it'll tell you the achievement, but it won't like tell you how many points you get, anything, because it doesn't keep a track. It doesn't do the same thing the Xbox does.
What do you mean multiple systems?
Like if I I play Stardew Valley, and if I play let's say I play Stardew Valley on Xbox, I get an achievement. If I play Stardew Valley on PlayStation, I might not get an achievement. But like an achievement might not pop up, or if it pops up, it's rare. The achievements are harder to get and rare in the other video games. I don't think Nintendo does achievements at all.
Right.
You know, or if they do, they just tell you something's accomplished. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, but to your premise of your joke, though, I think the stuff, I would love to see what different people's achievements in life would be. Yes. You know, like, you didn't call that fuck nigga back. Bloop, 100 points.
Come on, bloop.
You know, just a little motivation. Like, you got your orders the vegetables today. All right.
Come on, you got that salad.
Achievement unlocked.
You remember to take your medication, but a bloop. Yeah. Yes. I would love that. You bit your tongue and you didn't cuss that coworker out. Cha-ching.
Yeah. Bloop. The only things I had, and they're kind of quick, I'm watching the Twin Flames docuseries on Netflix. Twin Flames is apparently a cult that popped up in the pandemic. And I don't want to sound insensitive, but you know, when someone says that means they're about to sound a little insensitive. So I know it sounds insensitive, and I know cults, it can happen to everybody, and that's how they get you, is you don't think it can happen to you, and blah, blah, blah. I get all that. But these niggas was in a cult on Zoom.
Oh, Zoom?
Yes, Zoom. Like, they only met in person 3 times.
Wow.
Hey, man, you can't quote me in no shit I can log out of. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. No fucking way. You can't, I'm not letting you mind control me if I can mute you. I'm sorry. And yes, they were. Okay, it was 2 blacks. I counted. And the one black I'm not even really counting because she just worked there. She was like, yeah, girl, I knew I wasn't going to find my twin. So the thing is, the Twin Flames, their whole thing is, we going to help you find your soulmate and be happy with your soulmate. And so
nobody can guarantee that.
You come here And we guarantee it. We guarantee it. You come here with your boo, your current person you're interested in. We gonna coach you through just, and it was very inappropriate. Lots of like sex talk and stuff. We're gonna make you sexy. Then they made people gain weight by food, which is a weird one because normally cults make you lose a lot of weight.
Right.
This was a cult that made you gain a lot of weight. He talked about how,
I mean, you're on Zoom.
He still liked his wife because she was fat, even though she got fat while they were married, and he used those words, not me. But anyway, my point being, I feel sorry for the people because I think the pandemic and loneliness,
was at an all-time high.
Yeah,
and that connection.
Mm-hmm. And I think also, as something I'll keep pointing out, and I know people think, not people, a person that wrote that 1-star review was like, "You're obsessed with Twitter," but this electronic communication shit, it's got things it can do to us that we have not truly studied or thought about yet.
Correct.
And we always finding some new shit out. Like, wait, you can be in a cult, you ain't even met the motherfuckers? Yes. And that's what happened through Zoom. And so that's why this story interested me so much. But there were so many times where like people were doing stuff and I'm like, you couldn't just not talk to these motherfuckers no more. They can't, like one person talked about leaving the cult, and because it's not in person, she was like, so I blocked so-and-so. And that was the first person I blocked. Then I blocked this person. And then I blocked this other person. And then I blocked, and I was like, oh, that's right. Yeah, that's not like the 70s where like you were worried about them kidnapping you, right, or like how I'm gonna get out of this commune. All you had to do was go outside, touch grass. You was out the cult. You done. Achievement unlocked. Cult, left cult. Bloop. And so it was just kind of wild to me. And I'm at the part I'm at the end, I think, the 3rd episode. And they had some people who transitioned their bodies like you're like, they told these people like, you're a trans man. And they got top surgery and everything.
So
they come, let me tell you why, because I got the same questions as you, but I have the answers because I watched it.
Okay.
So the first thing is, you're going, maybe these people were trans, and this is their way that even though they're a cult, they supported the people through their transition. Turns out the system that they believed in, that they promoted everything around, was masculine matching feminine energy. And what happened is, a lot of men that originally were the twin flame of some woman who was in this cult were like, fuck this, I'm out. Even if they were like a bad man, they were like, I don't want these motherfuckers telling me what to do. And so the men left and the women stayed. But what happens is, now you got a cult full of women who are looking for men to be their twin flames, and you ain't got a bunch of men. Matter of fact, when most people come to the cult, they come because they're in a relationship. So you're not having an influx of single dudes or whatever. So what they did, instead of being like, this doesn't work, or we got to wait on a man to show up, or when you meet a new man, bring them in. No. They said, your soulmate is already here. They're one of the other women here. But then everybody's, of course, like, but you said it's masculine, feminine energy. So who's the masculine energy? Because y'all are the ones who won't budge on that. Y'all won't say, well, it's just 2 feminine energies and that's fine. No, they will then go, you're the masculine one, whichever one they pick. And that means you're trans and you need to get surgery and transition and start going by a different gender. We're going to call you different pronouns. You got to tell your family.
That's not how any of this works.
And people's whole families were like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Right. And it wasn't that hateful, bigoted shit of like, I ain't calling you no other pronoun. Like, it was people being like, if that's what's happening, sure. But is that what's happening, or is this cult telling you right, so you won't leave with your money or your work or your possessions?
Because there's a difference.
Yeah, right. It was scary as fuck that it made, like, and there were people that transitioned, and you know, and also like the do it under the guise of being pro trans, but you're honestly helping make the argument that a lot of the right wing is making, which is that, well, people are transitioning because they're being made to, they're being conditioned to. Now, there's other downfalls to that argument. Like, we really should, like, I can understand the argument that we really shouldn't be talking about transitioning as a it's just a right. It really shouldn't matter what a person's reasonings are. But in this case, this is anti-trans shit disguised as pro-trans, which is
correct.
You'll be the gender we fucking tell you to be if you want to belong.
Right.
Which is every fucking right-wing politician's lie about what transness is. And so yeah, man, it was it was just such a wild documentary. I'm almost done, but I cannot believe that shit was happening that way. And it's all because these motherfuckers couldn't be like, we wrong. Or I guess you don't have a twin flame here. It just, you do have a twin flame. And it just happens to be this other woman who's also already here. So, and there were people that linked up together to be like there's this one woman who was bi and another woman who I believe was a lesbian. And so they were like, yeah, y'all should be together. Just because we said that y'all twin flames, our bad. We thought it was that dude you was with, but it's not no more. Yeah. It was wild. Wild documentary. And then the second thing for my banter was I started watching Bass Reeves on Paramount Plus, starring David Oyelowo. It's cool so far. But one, he got super ripped to do this role, which is interesting because I don't think you have to be ripped to be like a Western lawman, but this nigga, like, I guess Bass Reeves invented HGH because this motherfucker, like, he's gonna be in a Marvel movie. Maybe he gonna take over Kang, I don't know. But the thing that was interesting is that in the Civil War, Bass Reeves fought for the South. He didn't have a choice.
Okay.
Because his master fought for the South.
So
he made Bass fight for the South.
Right.
And the irony of the opening scene is like they're charging against the Northern Army, and his master is like, let's go. And he makes, Bass go. And I the height of arrogance of whiteness to take a slave with you into battle with weapons, by the way. And the prize for the battle is the slave's freedom. And y'all on the other side. I can't imagine that level of arrogance. I can't imagine, like,
not being afraid or scared they might try to shoot me, kill me, and then cross over. Yes, that's 100% whiteness.
Like, no wonder y'all lost. You couldn't even fathom, like, that's how you know they really did not think that black people were human. Because you can't fathom, because you would never do it.
Right.
If a motherfucker was like, let's go fight so I can keep you a slave, no white person is signing up for that. Y'all motherfuckers stole America from Britain just because y'all was like, damn, it's more land over here than I thought. A lot of trees. Boy, anyway, that's my banter. It's not even real banter. That's just something I noticed. That was wild.
No problem.
All right, let's get into some news. All right. More Keke Palmer stuff is coming out.
Okay, what happened?
Just back and forth stuff. The first thing is Keke Palmer gave Darius Jackson a lot of chances, a source told People. She gave him a lot of chances to do the right thing. Keke tried so hard to have an amicable split and arrangement in custody. She needed to prioritize her safety and the safety of the baby. She wants the best for Leo. She did not want it to get to this point, but she did what she had to do. A source told People. I don't know who the source is, but I mean, I think it's implied in the filing of the fact that it happened enough times that it feels like something you do when you're trying not to get the police involved. Like, you're trying to get the custody stuff done, but you're not trying to, it seems, press charges.
Right. Because you just wanted to, quote unquote, get through the process and be over with.
Right. And I'm just prepared for the idea that at some point, I don't know when, but I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like the same thing happened with Megan Thee Stallion. It doesn't have to make sense. There will just be people that feel like they need to take a side against her somehow. and it'll be debated in public opinion, the court of public opinion, and we'll see. Because, like I said, people love the idea of any black man saying, "I'm trying to see my kid." They don't care what he does or has done,
Right.
or what he's currently doing. It's always like he wants to see his kid. That's what's wrong with these women, and especially black women. They blah blah blah. And then of course, it's never one sided in that the other person is alive. Darius Jackson is alive.
Yes,
he gonna have his say too.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for Troy, what's his name? Tory Lanez. For Tory Lanez, his shit never made sense, but it didn't matter. People just wanted to believe that whatever he said was right and whatever Megan Thee Stallion said was wrong. And maybe it wasn't everybody, but it was enough people, enough movers and shakers to keep that shit going forever, you know? That being said, Darius Jackson denies abuse allegations. He shares an audio file of Keke Palmer's mother threatening him with he might get a bullet put in his head. So I haven't heard this audio, but I'll try to play it for everybody. And then we'll talk about it because I haven't heard it yet.
You motherfucker!
Where's my baby?
You better watch out. You might get a bullet in your motherfucker. You motherfucker!
Where's my baby?
That's the audio. And then there's a screenshot of a text. I don't know who's it from exactly. I think maybe his mom. Let me make sure. Yeah, the couple's mothers. Okay, so it's from his mom to Keke Palmer's mom. And the text is, "Hello, Sharon. How are you?" This is obviously from his mom. "I have tried not to get involved in my son's personal business, but I heard that you are going to put a bullet in my son's head, 3 question marks. Well, then now we have to involve the authorities because you don't respect or value yourself, and I can see my son's life. You might have to kill all of us. I will file a police report on you." Now, obviously, context matters here. If Sharon Keke Palmer is responding, Keke Palmer's mom is responding to your son hit my daughter and says, "I might put a bullet in your head." To me, I'm taking that different than if she just called him out of nowhere and said, "I'm going to put a bullet in your head." Like, just trying to keep it reasonable and rational at what must have happened. The order of events matters here. And if you're only now showing up, now who knows what happened before this exchange, but if you're just now showing up to be like, "You ain't going to threaten my son," where the fuck were you when he was putting his hands on my daughter? On the mother of his child? Now you want to come in and I try not to get involved? Then stay uninvolved, motherfucker. But yeah, Sharon said, "Please do not contact me with this ridiculous childish behavior. Your son choked his own sister. Deal with his anger issues. If he attacks my daughter in her own, where she pays the bills, he is trespassing. Anything can happen, so he should stay away. You should be very ashamed to have raised a man who fights women." So that's the end of that, what's been shared today. So, but yeah, it's just like it's gonna get ugly. And I know, listen, I didn't think it was fucking possible for people to think Ciara was doing something wrong to Future. And yet, I know there's still people to this day that hate Russell Wilson and claim like she fucked up leaving Future, even though he had cheated and had multiple babies out, with other women and shit during that. Like, they're somehow in their minds, they think they're looking at it completely fair. Like I could never convince those people that, hey man, you don't see the bias in your stance right here, that someone should have to put up with all that shit because you like a nigga's music. Like that. And I think the thing that Keke probably has going for her is this dude ain't nobody. He doesn't make anything yet. So people could hide behind like, I'm just a fan of Tory Lanez music. I'm just a fan of Future's music. Since they don't know him like that, maybe I hope this is what happens. Maybe people won't try to turn it into a he got a point type of thing. But I don't know. A lot of that shit is about the trauma people have with their own like custody situations and baby mama. And it really just, these people are avatars for that.
Yeah, and they're projecting. It's a lot of projecting. It's a lot of hurt and pain and anger that you're spewing out, quote unquote picking sides about people that you do not know.
Yeah. So anyway, very ugly situation, and probably just gonna get worse.
Yep.
Senator Tim Scott is dropping out of the 2024 GOP presidential race. It doesn't even seem like he really informed his, like it came as a surprise to his own campaign folks.
Oh, they ain't know they showed up and like, let's go.
One campaign worker told the Associated Press that campaign staff found out Scott was dropping out by watching the show when he did Sunday Night in America.
So he didn't even prepare them and be like, I'm just letting y'all know I'm going on, and when I go on, that's going to be it.
Right. And I know why. I think he did all this to flex that he had a white woman.
And maybe it's just me on the outside looking in. I think that's some staffer that he was like, we go together or go with the flow. And it wouldn't surprise me. And next month or two, you're going to hear they ain't not even together anymore, because I don't think it's a real relationship.
The white lady?
Yep, I don't think it's real.
I mean, listen, I don't think any black Republicans ran for president with a white wife. Like, people don't understand the nuance of my point about this. They think I'm saying he was flexing having a white wife. And they're like, don't all the black Republicans have white wives? A lot of them do. You're not wrong.
Right.
But they can't run for president. Like, you can have a white wife or you can run for president. Now, if you want to run for president, you got to have a black wife or you better be single. Because that type of America don't like that. And so, you got to pull out a Candy Carson or something. So for Tim to be like, I'm running, and then be like, also my woman is white, he broke a glass ceiling. Now, he broke it with tap dancing shoes, but he broke that shit. So, he'll be getting his Black History Month, respect for breaking the color barrier, the interracial color barrier.
Apparently so.
The Loving Day color barrier for Republicans. That being said, I do have an audio of how he talked about, dropping out.
Playing field is magnificent, man. Snow bunnies everywhere now. You know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes I'm on a ski trip, and because I ain't never pulled so many before. It's like I go to these clubs down here in downtown, and it's like snow bunny heaven. Blonde hair, brunette hair. Hey, sometimes I go for the freaky one, the purple blue, hair. I like the Caucasian girls. They like to feel on me. I like to feel on them. Double D's, hey, that's what it is.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Tim Scott. I didn't see it coming that way, but I gotta respect it. That's a man that know what he want, and said what he said, and ran a good campaign. The Supreme Court says it's adopting a code of ethics for the first time.
We don't believe you.
Well, the problem isn't whether or not they're adopting the code of ethics. The problem is there's no enforcement in the code of ethics.
Correct.
So what happens when you overstep?
Right. Who's going to hold you accountable? Who's going to enforce these things?
What, you going to shame each other?
Right.
Because I just feel like we're going to be like, oh, Clarence Thomas, you shouldn't have took that trip. That's against the code of ethics. He's going to be like, you're right.
And
I think that's going to be the whole fucking thing. Is okay.
Noted.
Yeah. So I don't know that a code of ethics is really going to change a goddamn thing. All of them agreed, but once again, what happens when you don't do it?
Right.
So yeah, they said it reads like a more like a friendly suggestion than a binding enforceable guideline.
Right, because it's not binding nor enforceable.
Yeah, and I guarantee if they put some teeth in it, because everybody wouldn't have signed it.
Right.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. There's no agreement that everybody would have signed that is worth a damn. The only way this shit is worth a damn is if certain justices are like, whoa, hold on now. I don't know if I'm gonna sign that. That's when we go, okay, yeah, that's a good one. If Clarence Thomas says, fuck that, that's when I'm like, yep, y'all sign that one right away. You don't want to do that.
Right.
But yeah, it doesn't seem very enforceable, so we'll see. How about this? Jennifer Hudson confirms she's in a very happy relationship with Common.
Okay.
Yeah.
Common done been around.
Community dick. That's what Common stands. You can't spell community dick without Common. Okay.
Yeah, he has dated a lot of different women over the course of his career.
Yeah, he's like an older Lori Harvey, you know.
Yes.
Everything y'all say about Lori,
he does the same thing.
Y'all, Common is the actual person that y'all think Lori is. But yeah, you know, good for her. You know, she getting a turn. You know, hopefully one of these days he'll be able to understand that until he closes his legs and puts on something other than them gray jogging pants, no one's gonna respect you.
Nobody's gonna respect you.
You giving the dick away for free, okay? Who gonna buy the bull when the dick is free? Think about it, Common. Think about it. I just want you to respect yourself, right? He ain't been the same since Erykah Badu turned him out.
No, he is not.
DoorDash warns that you may get your food a little cold if you don't tip. So the way DoorDash works, people know if they're getting tipped, what the tip is before they take the order. Now, it's been this way the whole time, from my understanding. Nothing is changing. DoorDash is just openly letting you know in an veiled attempt, they'll kind of threaten you into doing the right thing. Now, why people don't tip the delivery people, I have my suspicions on what they would say, which is they already charged me $5 to deliver it. But you know that $5 doesn't go to the actual driver in that case.
Which it should.
I hear you, but we know what it is.
Right.
This is like making an argument at a restaurant. I shouldn't tip the waiter because the restaurant should be paying the waiter. We agree, but the waiter ain't being paid. So what are we doing tonight?
Right.
Tonight we're tipping. I think it is bold that people have been not tipping just because I wouldn't fuck around with my food like that.
Me either.
Because y'all being late and cold is just one bad thing that can happen to your non-tipping ass. You know, like just showing up with only half the fries there is another one. You know, the motherfuckers being like, I don't remember if they had a drink or not. Fuck them. You know.
And also, when you tip, particularly if you're a generous tipper, a lot of times you're at the top of the list. A lot of times we get our, depending on who the driver is, we get our food quicker and faster.
Sometimes, you know, I can never know for sure, but
right, depend on the driver.
I tip, you know, I always tip a little bit above the suggestion. It's not like I'm doubling it or nothing, you know. And of course, like the logistics are different because at a restaurant, I tip definitely you want to tip based on what you bought, how much it cost, and how much preparation and time it takes, blah, blah, blah. But it's weird with a restaurant because like you kind of need to take into account the distance. Like if Chipotle is right up the street, $5 is not an insult. That person just made $5 in 5 minutes. Like
right,
easiest $5 they're gonna make. But if like the Chipotle is across town, burrito still costs the same, but maybe I would want to tip a little bit more than $5 for that one.
Right.
Cause you know, that motherfucker gotta drive 40 minutes to get to me, and that $5 for 45 minutes might not hit the same. You know, it's a lot of logistics. And at the end of the day, if you really are so offended by this shit, you can always not even use the app, call a restaurant.
Right.
Go eat in.
Yeah.
Get takeout. Order takeout.
Yeah. And
I do it sometimes myself.
Yeah, and a lot more of the larger chains, even though they're on these apps, a lot of them are creating their own apps, doing specials that they only run in their apps that you can only get if you use their, you know, their apps and things like that, kind of putting away for the fees and the charges. And depending on the size of the business, you have some smaller businesses, they're not even on the app. And for some of them, if they are, they're like, it's almost like a spoof. It's almost like they're on the app, but they didn't authorize to be on the app. And like somebody else would actually put them on the app, and then you call. So you make an order on the app, then somebody else actually calls the restaurant to place the order on their behalf, which I think that shit should be illegal, because if I'm not on your app, I should be on your app.
Right. So yeah, I'm not, I think it's kind of weird that they low key threatened everybody with this.
I guess
but I guess it's really
people not tipping.
for me, it's really making people aware of something I can't believe everyone didn't know. Like, I wonder how many people think it's a shitty app because their food doesn't come that fast, and it's because you've never tipped. And you're just like, I don't even know what the big deal is about DoorDash. My food always get that hour late. I'm like, okay. I mean, you ever wonder why it's an hour late? You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. All right. Another thing, Whoopi Goldberg, problematic fave, showed why she's problematic today. She criticized millennials again after receiving backlash for suggesting they have poor work ethic. If you want a house, you can't work a 4-day work week. So last Thursday, she mentioned that she had drawn complaints from millennials from her earlier remarks criticizing their work ethic. Women, when we were kids, there was a standard women had to follow. You were a parent, you became a parent, and you worked. I never knew women who did not work. That's why I have an interesting time when we talk about millennials. They're very pissed at me right now, the young people. Young people need to know it's hard. It's always been hard. It will always be hard. That's the nature of moving forward. You're always moving through something. You're always trying to get where you need to be. I just want you to be realistic and understand. If you want a house, you can't work a 4-day work week. You have to work longer than that. If you're not aware, during Wednesday's episode of The View, the co-host engaged in a discussion about the reasons why millennials are postponing parenthood. I'm sorry, every generation comes and wants to do better than their parents did, but I'm sorry if you only want to work 4 hours, it's going to be harder for you to get a house. I feel for everybody that feels this, but I'm sorry. We busted our behinds. We had to bust our behinds because we didn't have the option of going back. We had all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, this sounds like somebody's completely out of touch with what the millennials are actually dealing with. Like the shit when you was a younger, that shit is quadruple in price. It ain't the fucking same. You are talking about people that have went to school, got a job, and their job is not promising what they were promised. You have people that are graduating with $100-something, $250, $500,000, sometimes more in fucking student loan debt. You have people, you have a whole generation that were promised some of the things that you had. They were promised these things, they don't. You have a system that that has changed. Years ago, I had a Pell Grant. Years ago, the Pell Grant covered like up to 80, almost all of your student loan. Almost all of your tuition. Now, you know how much it pays? About 25%. Is a big motherfucking difference. So, you're talking to a generation that is strapped with a whole lot of motherfucking debt. They're goddamn drowning in it. And it's very insulting to them from their perspective, some old fuddy-duddy who has not experienced that, to turn around and tell them that they're goddamn lazy. You talking about the generation that's the side hustle generation. You talk about the generation that works 2 and 3 jobs. You talk about the generation that works 40 hours a week. They DoorDash. They turn around. They Grubhub. They turn around. They Uber Eats. They turn around. Any spare time they got, they motherfucking hustling for something. You talk about every time you turn around, a whole generation now. Ooh, motherfucking, you don't have anything. You get to the point where everything is, how can I make more money? How can I make more money? They literally are stressing themselves to death, trying to make money, trying to make ends meet. You can't get a house. If you get a house, guess what? You got to have motherfucking roommates now. It ain't like it used to be. I can't just go get something by myself. You have a whole generation now who got to stay at home with their parents and be on their insurance till they're motherfucking 30 almost. It's not a choice. You got a generation, they have to delay this because you know what? Now I have $50,000 worth of debt. Guess what I don't want? To bring children into this. Guess what I don't want? To have a mate and strap them with my debt. Guess what? I'm feeling inadequate. So it's one of those things where you don't know what you're talking about in this particular situation, blaming the children on something that's beyond their control. This is what the generation now, they're inheriting our problems that we didn't address and we thought was a joke, and the government poo-pooed on them and didn't take care of your universal health care, didn't do these things. And you told this generation, who for a lot of them depend on when they graduated from school, graduated in a fucking recession. So they graduated and they couldn't find a job, bitch. So what are you talking about?
Well, I agree with everything you just said. Also, I would add, millennials aren't children. So we actually talking about adults now. And it reminds me of this book that I read, Poorly Understood What America Gets Wrong About Poverty. And it's mostly almost like a textbook. It's just, but in a good way, in that they back up everything they say with data. And it's about the myths of poverty, and so many cultural myths are such confirmation bias. And it's not just conservatives, not just white people, black people. People buy into the myths when they feel like it. And anecdotally is what they go to. They because it's never evidence. It must be your attitude, you know? And in some ways I can understand what she's saying, because pragmatically I am of Gen X, so you always gonna get me with the pragmatic shit. Cause I'm like, yeah, I can see what you're saying. And if your thing is, look, man, it's gonna be hard for y'all. It ain't getting better. And if you want to do these things, it's just gonna fuck you up. And you're gonna have to deal with it being fucked up. And it was fucked up for us too. And they're right. It wasn't perfect. If you go back and look statistically, almost, I forget the exact numbers, but most people at some point experience poverty.
Yes.
Most of us have it when we're children. Now think about, your parents may shield you from that, but think about what that means. If you experienced poverty when you were a child, that means when your parents chose to have you, it put them in the bracket of poverty.
Right.
Meaning having children is one of the biggest risk factors for poverty. Now, kids know more, younger people know more, adults our age know more. A lot of that's from the social media and the internet and all this stuff. A lot of that is from, the fact that we can educate ourselves more and stuff. But part of knowing more is that it affects your decisions. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have kids because they just didn't know how bad it could be, or that it would be too bad. And they're like, it'll work out somehow.
Right.
So hopefully the government safety nets do something. But when you have a society that has let conservatives win and cut the underpinnings of the social safety net via, conservative politics, you make people not want to have kids. And what do they do to offset that? They don't go, well, how can we help people with Planned Parenthood? How can we help people with government subsidies that feed families? No, they go, cut all that shit off and don't let them have abortions. That's their answer to making America have more kids. It's not, let's make it a place where having a child doesn't send you on a spiral to poverty.
Right.
It's, let's do, whatever. And the other part of it is, like I said, I can understand, and because we talked about this last week a couple weeks ago, with the woman who was like, why didn't my job come check on me and all this stuff. I do understand part of Whoopi's thing, which is like, life is fucked up and they're not coming to help you, so y'all gonna have to make a way out of some way, because
that's better stated.
If you've been waiting for America to give a fuck, they never will.
Agreed.
And you're America too, so you either gotta vote some people in and shit. If you feel like waiting on all that, you gotta go through that process. But you're not gonna be able to complain your way into them doing the right thing, because they just don't.
Right.
But she didn't say that. She turned to a work ethic thing. And then the last thing I'll say before I, try to move on or whatever. Everybody does this. And I mean everybody. I saw this thing yesterday and I was thinking about it. It was this person that said, she tweeted something about how her father paid for his mom's mortgage, his wife and family's mortgage, and half of her rent. And that's what men do, right? And then of course everybody in the replies are like, yeah, these men ain't shit. These men don't do that no more, And I said, oh, isn't that interesting? Same argument as Whoopi Goldberg. It's the same argument. These men just don't care. They obviously have enough money to do this. Fuck inflation, fuck employment, fuck any of that. Fuck the student loan stuff. When it comes to men versus women or dating, people turn to some capitalistic assholes real fast. Every poverty myth, they believe it. It's just you don't want it bad enough. That's why you ain't got the money. You just don't want to have the money for a $200 date. It can't be that you don't have it, or that, you know, that's not reasonable or whatever. It's just you not a, and if you don't have the money, it reflects poorly on your class and sophistication and your education and your and all this stuff. So we all have these moments of like choosing to believe the anecdotal thing rather than look at the macro of like, look at all these trends. Look at everything we've lost as a country, social safety nets, you know, the fucking subprime lending grift that destroyed so much wealth in this country. You know, the banks literally cheating on these loans and shit and getting penalties of paying the government money, but it didn't make these people right. It didn't fix the credit of the communities they destroyed.
Right.
So it's that kind of stuff that doesn't get talked about when we don't feel like talking about it, but it counts for everything. It can't only count when you want it to count. And so right. I find, you know me, I'm always thinking a little tangential, a little outside the box. I connected those two things in my mind when I saw them. I said, oh, you sound like Whoopi. Yeah, the men just don't want it anymore. No, the men don't have what they had the same way you don't have what you would have had 30 years ago.
And you're also talking about a generation now that's averaging less than their parents. Like, you know, and people aren't talking about that part either. You know, you talking about a generation now where, like I said, they were promised if they go to school and do the right thing and get in this debt, they would get in a job. But you do the right thing and get a job and get out. And the jobs is like, no, bitch, you start at the bottom like everybody else, making, you know, less than $20 an hour. But I got a degree, and they go, fuck you and your degree. This is what we paying you. And then you wonder why they're mad and they're upset.
1 in 4 U.S. medical students consider quitting, and most don't plan to treat patients. A new report on how medical students view the future of their careers has found that 1/4 of aspiring physicians in the U.S. say they are considering quitting their studies, with many expressing concerns about their mental health and how they can find a study life balance. This is another thing too, because this is generational. Whenever you're blaming a generation for a lack of whatever you want them to have mentally as a group, understand that we're their parents.
Right.
It's us. So if you got a problem with Gen Z, you got a problem with really Gen X. You know, if you got a problem with millennials, then you really have a problem with, you know, the boomers or whoever raised them, you know, whatever if that was Gen X, then, you know, that's the problem. Like, it's because we're the ones instilling this stuff. And I think every generation instills the things in the next generation that they didn't have. And it's a course correction and normally an overcorrection, but all of them come with consequences. No one is immune to consequences. Our generation likes to think we're better and perfect parents. But you know who's going to be the judge of that? The kids.
Yes, they are.
So the same way that y'all think y'all parents got it wrong, or they did too much, or you don't like this thing about that generation, fine. So you raise your kids, you never hit them. That's fine. Your kids are still going to think y'all are fucked up somehow because you were the adults and the parents, and you're going to get blamed. And also, on the top of that, whatever you don't like about your kids, you did it. You don't like participation trophies? Kids don't give themselves trophies. We do.
They sure don't.
You know, you think they care about their feelings too much and they soft? We made them soft. They should have went outside to touch grass. We told them to stay inside. We were scared. We say, oh, you're not going to be like me. I was a latchkey kid.
Yep. And you wrapped them all in the house.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure I'm in the house, you in the house together. And then you look up at 30, you're like, why the fuck you still in the house? Nigga, you did this.
Right.
So if you think like kids don't value being tough and making it through medical school and sacrificing their mental health for either the prestige of a degree or just the I'll stick to itiveness of like, I'm going to finish it out. Understand that that's because we told them it's okay.
Yeah, and also, I might be wrong, but my opinion is a lot of them seen how the medical field was treated during the pandemic. And a lot of them volunteered their time and their services, even though they were undergrad and all that stuff. They might not have, quote unquote, been in the front line, but a lot of them was in these hospitals and out here assisting with operations and shit. And they seen these people cussing them out as they took their last breath. They seen people spitting at them. They seen people fighting them.
The #1 podcast telling them they liars and shit.
they seen the vaccine coming out and people fighting them and arguing with them against science and the shit that they went to school for, and a lot of them reevaluated that shit, and a lot of them are like, the fuck am I doing here? When I get out, nobody's going to appreciate the work that I'm doing. All this prestige shit ain't going to mean nothing when you going to put me beside a dumbass and actually tell us to talk to each other and call that good TV and call that an intellectual conversation.
I think the kids coming out now are going to be a lot more like our generation, Gen X, than people expect. While everybody's shitting on us for being the absent generation or blah, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that's fine. Leave us alone. But though the new kids, I think, are going to be a course correction from the always content generation, which is millennials and Gen Z. Everything is, let's make a TikTok, let's make a live, let's document this. And I, anecdotally speaking, because I'm talking about like my niece and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
a lot of them are getting offline.
A lot of kids I see now, they not really trying to be online sharing everything. Like they might be online looking at stuff, but they're not so interested in like, let's make everything into content. It's right. They're kind of turning, at least the ones I know in my personal life, they're a little bit more like, I don't want to be on the internet. It's like they've seen the Me Too movement of the internet. They've seen canceling. They've seen dragging. They've seen what happens when people make very human mistakes. I'm not talking about people making like the worst thing in the world or just starting, but like things we could do at 13 because only the people that immediately saw it would ever know. They can't. That joke I made when I was whatever age, they can't do that. Because let's say that kid turns out to be somebody later and they go, oh, okay, let's look at your tweets from when you're 13. Yeah, NBA team just drafted you, the biggest night of your life. What the fuck did you mean by this when you were 12? Right. That's what we're talking about. When Ja Morant got in trouble, people went and found posts from when he was a child, a fucking almost a baby. And like, see, we should have known. Like, these kids they're going to have a completely different mentality, I think, than the generations before them. And I don't think people see it coming yet. They, but they will soon.
Hey, but you know who see it coming? Social media sites. Because a lot of them are like, hey, dog, these young people dropping off. They canceling their accounts. They not re-upping. Yeah. They was like the average age of the person is getting older. We're not putting in young people. Because like you say, it's a generation now. Not trying to fun. This generation didn't have a choice. Cameras were turned on there whether they want them to be or not.
We told these kids their feelings should matter because we didn't think ours did. Ours didn't matter enough. So now it's your turn. We want your feelings to matter. I'll never raise my kid feeling like they should just get over it and all this stuff. And so, yeah, we got a generation where 1-4 students is like, And I think the other thing we can't forget, medical school has always been tough. People have always wanted to quit. Right. So it's not necessarily like a huge crisis in that no one's ever wanted to quit medical school. I think the difference might be these kids might quit.
Yeah.
Like we'll see what the numbers say eventually, but I think the difference is like where our generation and the ones before us were in the you need to push through it. I could definitely see this generation being like, push through it for what? More debt and malpractice lawsuits. I'm good.
Right. And you also talking to a generation now where you're kind of several generations into them watching people now want their student loan debt washed and things like that. And they're like, I can stop now, not get a degree, pay this off a lot quicker than if I push through this.
They said among these surveyed medical students, 60% said they were concerned about their mental health. 69% said they were concerned about their income. 63% expressed concerns about experiencing burnout. And 60% were worried about how clinician shortages would affect them. So everything we brought up, including the pandemic stuff, because a lot of shortages happened then. Mm-hmm. Overall, 12% of medical students around the world said they were considering quitting their studies. Among U.S. students, the percentage more than doubled to 25%. More than half of medical and nursing students, 58%, said they viewed their current studies as a stepping stone to careers in healthcare that don't involve treating patients.
Yeah, a lot of them are starting to go into administration. Like you have people that were doctors, a lot of them left and was like, I'm gonna start my own thing. I'm gonna do shit online. Like they was like, fuck this, because the general public was ass to them during this pandemic, and people have not forgotten.
Yeah. So I found it to be a pretty interesting study. And that's why I wanted to share with everybody. Let's move on to another segment. I guess we should do maybe fucking with black people. Yeah, how about we do that?
Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people.
All right, fucking with black people time. Ramona Singer tries to downplay her use of the N-word while practically using the slur. Ramona Singer is a Real Housewife of New York City. It was in response to a Vanity Fair expose about Bravo and her alleged racism. Man, I wish Ray Sonny was here to tell us who this woman is, because I don't know shit about her.
Woo!
She says, and the word I used was N-word, not N-G ... Bravo didn't return page 6 request for comment. So I guess the feature included interviews with fellow housewives such as Ebony K. Williams and Leah McSweeney. It alleged that Singer had used the N-word in conversation with a black crew member during production in season 13. Her alleged use of the racial slur became a complaint within Shed Media, Warner Bros. Discovery, Bravo, and NBC Universal, but Singer denied saying the term, and an internal investigation was inconclusive. Williams, who was the first black housewife, I guess Ebony K. Williams, to appear on the NYC franchise, also claimed in the expose that Singer, 66, had stated that most black people don't have present fathers while participating in a training call with 2 racial justice representatives, as well as a publicist from Bravo and a communications expert for NBC Universal. What if they don't have a father? Why can't I say that? Singer said. Most of them don't. The network publicist, who was also black, informed Singer that she has a father, but the housewife said she read a study that confirmed that most black children do not. McSweeney corroborated Williams' account. The training included open dialogue. Singer told Vanity Fair in response to the allegation, in that spirit, I asked a question about a statistic I read about single-parent households where single-parent households were statistically less likely to succeed than 2-parent households. Page 6 also exclusively reported in 2021 that Singer allegedly said, this is why we shouldn't have black people on the show, in reference to Williams after Luann de Lesseps kicked the attorney out of her home. Singer denied the story at the time, telling us it was a terrible lie. However, Vanity Fair also reported a similar story, but added that Singer went one step further and purportedly said, this is going to ruin our show. Singer denied the incident again, adding in an email to the magazine, in fact, I supported adding diverse cast members well before Ebony was added. Singer is slated to appear at BravoCon, I guess that weekend that they did this article. All right, Karen, 0 to 5.
0 to 100?
I mean 0 to 100. Sorry, I made a mistake.
Oh, no problem.
I gotta get some I made a mistake music for the show.
It tickled me every time. I'm going to give it a 75. The reason why it's not getting 100 because I don't know who this woman is. Woo! But I'm giving it a 75 because the things you described was very, very fucked up.
Yeah, I give it a 75 as well. The reason I don't give it 100 is mostly because I'm having this issue with this type of reality TV where I truly do not fully understand the point. We are putting garbage people on TV and telling them to be garbage people. We're rewarding them for being garbage. Like, please be garbage. That's what the fuck we filming. We don't want you being uplifting and positive. That's boring. And then we're like, but find the line. Find the perfect line of problematic, but non-truly offensive, but also continuing to keep our blood curdling enough that we will keep hate watching you. And it's apparently a little difficult.
It is
Every once in a while, one
Somebody
of these
crossed that
motherfuckers
line.
is going to cross a line that we as a society go, why they do that? And you know why they did that? Because they get paid to do that. And I think the same thing happened with Erica Mena, where I'm like, yeah, it's disgusting, but it's a whole motherfucking complex. She didn't just walk in the room and randomly say something. No. They went and found a person who would say some trash shit and went, yeah, say the trashiest shit you can think of. And then when she did it, they went, oh, not that trash. Because we would never support that. Keep the cameras rolling. You know, so that's why it's a 75, because I feel like it's bigger than her. But at the same time, it's reality TV, and what can I say? I mean, people gonna watch it. I'm not trying to down like no one would be racist if not for reality TV. It's not saying that. It's just this is kind of like going to an NBA game and being mad somebody got fouled. You're like,
oh, they're gonna get fouled now.
Someone is going to listen. If we went to watch an NFL game, someone getting a concussion.
Yes, they are.
The FDA plans to issue a ban on hair straightening chemical products. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration intends to suggest a prohibition on specific hair straightening items, including chemical relaxers and pressing products. According to a spokesperson, Courtney Rhodes, the agency is preparing to introduce a regulation banning hair straightening products that include formaldehyde and other substances such as methylene or glycol. If the regulation is passed, the FDA will welcome public input on it. Following the review of these comments, the agency will determine whether additional measures will be required. Based on the comments, we might decide to end the rulemaking process to issue a new proposed rule or to issue a final rule. If we decide to issue a final rule, we publish the final rule in the Federal Register. The FDA is likely to mention that hair straightening chemical products have been associated with short-term health effects. This includes sensation reactions and respiratory issues. Additionally, the regulation may emphasize these chemicals are used in specific cosmetic products for human hair. For quite some time, scientists have observed a correlation between hair straightening chemical products and the development of specific hormone-related cancers. These include ovarian and breast cancers, with an emphasis on their prevalence among Black and Latino women. Studies indicate that approximately 50% of products marketed to Black women contain these chemicals, in contrast to about 7% of the products targeted at white women.
I just have a bunch of questions.
Okay. All right. I read the whole article, so those were the answers that I have. Just to let you know.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. Just go ahead and do your question thing. Just if you're waiting on me to come back with this is what it was.
No. I guess my thing is, if you was to ban something about this, what would be the alternative? Like that's my question. If you make a ban like this, are they just gonna come through and just take away all these products off the shelf? Just swoop everybody, just toss them out?
I also wonder, like, for the people that make the products, what does this mean for them? For the people that use the products, obviously, would you have to switch to a different product?
Right.
Is this, will this erase the hair straightening industry? I don't think it would, because obviously people are going to need to do that. But in a business sense, are you going to strip are you deciding the winners and losers of the market?
Right.
Because if you say, hey, these people can't, or can they just switch the formula? Use a different chemical or something? I don't know.
Definitely my question.
The other thing is, in America, where municipalities are having to pass the Crown Act so Black women can go to work with their natural hair. Well, Black people, I say Black women, but anyone who's wearing locks, anyone who's wearing natural hairstyles, you're considered somehow not business appropriate. Well, when I have even less resources to do this, what are you really saying? Like, you may actually be fucking with some people's livelihoods because this is a fucked up country. Like, unless we get a federal Crown Act, I don't know what you're really saying for these people when you say, hey, hair straightening for your health, we're trying to help you. And I believe them. I fully believe them. I trust that the FDA is doing this because there's some health effects. I think if you Black and you're around Black women, your whole life you've heard these things. No one's done the study, or it's all been correlation, but it's never been like anything conclusive. So I respect and understand all that. I just wonder what the impact is going to be on the community financially, and obviously in a racist ass society where a lot of motherfuckers straighten their hair not because of style choice. It's because, well, I can't have a certain type of corporate gig without worrying that I'm gonna hit a glass ceiling because of my fucking hair.
Agreed. And it's a catch-22 because it's one of those things where a lot of these chemicals probably should have been banned like decades ago, probably, because this right here is probably not a new finding. This is just somebody black or somebody that cared actually got the funding and the resources to get to the point that they got the numbers and statistics, because most black and brown people know somebody who got relaxers, like your whole family. Somebody has had breast cancer, somebody's had ovarian cancer, somebody has had cysts on their ovaries, somebody's had a full hysterectomy or partial hysterectomy. You know, most black and brown people know somebody in their family, or they have like generations of aunts and sisters and cousins and maybe even them themselves that have a lot of times been directly impacted by this. And, you know, for some, it's a correlation to it. For some, it's not. But for a lot of people, if you go back in their history, a lot of them have been having relaxers for decades and stopped, or whatever the case may be. Or like me, since you were a child, because it's a lot more easier just to smack relaxer upside your head than to actually deal with your natural hair, because most people don't know how to deal with our hair in our natural state, even a lot of black women, because we just never had to deal with it before. So unless you are raised in the family where we're natural, this is what we do and things like that, most of us like it's too much hassle. They act like you the problem. They make you feel I'm just big commercial to make you feel ashamed, like something is wrong with the hair growing out your head. They call you nappy head, kinky. You know, they just don't want to deal with your hair's tough, rough, whatever they want to call it, versus people just actually learning how to, you know, deal with hair in its natural format. On top of that, you deal with racism. So we were pushed into this because we didn't have a choice. And so, you know, you got people who they're doing this, and there's some people who like the silkiness of relaxers, and there's nothing wrong with that. So my thing is, if I'm somebody that wants a relaxer and that desires a relaxer, and you put this in there, what are the alternatives going to be? Is my hair going to be straight? Is it going to affect me in a different way that we don't know yet? Like, I have a lot of questions about this. Just from somebody who has had relaxers, and not had relaxers. So, you know, I have a lot of questions, and also the biggest thing: how many black women and Latino women are involved in this study, in this survey? How many of them are going to be the ones that are actually going to make these products and actually benefit these products? Are you going to have these big companies, Procter & Gamble and all these people, come in here, swoop in, make this shit, and then people hair really fall out because they don't give a fuck about what they putting in here and the chemicals? They're going to be like, well, the FDA said we could use this, and this.
Well, I mean, business-wise, I doubt this move happens without the industry titans knowing that it's possible. So I imagine they are prepared to make sure that their products aren't just off the shelves. So even if they say you can't use these chemicals, I just can't imagine in a capitalistic construct like America that motherfucking Procter & Gamble doesn't have some alternative at the ready, so that it's not like, sorry, there's no such thing as just for me anymore. It's going to be just as for me with new improved formula. Because I can't see, you know, and we may find out 20 years from now that the new formula got some shit.
Right.
But the point being, I doubt they go completely like, fuck it, I guess you just can't get your hair did, you know?
Right. And I think for a lot of people, it kind of sends them into panic mode just across the board. And I could see people going, well, this is racist, this is targeted at us, and things like that.
Is it racist to try to keep black people's health?
It's not, but I could see a lot of people automatically
saying something like, absolutely. The temps are going to be on it.
Right. Just jumping to that extreme. But my thing is, I truly believe that this is a safety thing. They're going, we're not saying get rid of it. All we're saying is take out the shit that's actually affecting.
Well, I think you're going to see some black people that will jump on that. You're right. They will be like, they just trying to destroy the community and shit. But I don't know, you know.
When there's some black person that cared enough to fucking write the study to push it up to where somebody will actually fucking finally pay attention to it. Because trust, nobody else was doing it.
Whoever keeps I say y'all start saving your bottles now. Like, go get all the just for me you can get right now, and then when it change, you can be like, I got that old crack, baby. I got that cream and crack.
I got that old shit.
I got that cream and crack, baby.
Y'all probably talking about that new formula. I got the old one.
I get you looking wavy over here. Just come on through. You ain't got to worry, but stiff wear, okay? I'm gonna help you with the bayang over here. Don't worry about that.
I got the bayang.
Yeah, but I'm sure the hotels they listen to this podcast upset right now.
Wait, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. These Negroes don't know nothing about history. These Negroes don't know. Let me get this straight.
Mm-hmm.
Coons will be coons. What do you want me to say?
That's probably what they think right now. 0 to 100, Karen.
I'll give this one. I'm going to give this one a 75. And the biggest reason why I'm going to give it a 75 is because I truly think that they already knew years ago that this shit was affecting us in all these ways. Nobody ever gave a shit enough to actually do the study to find out. I'm not giving it 100 because at least now somebody was like, hey, dog, we can't be killing people with this shit. And somebody's like, let's take this harmful shit off the shelves. They're not saying to get rid of relaxers altogether. All they're saying is the shit that's killing us and causing these issues, we got to take it out of the original formula. And they change formulas all of the time.
Yeah, I give it a 50. I definitely feel fucked with on some level, but I also feel like it's ultimately coming from a good place. And, for those who, disagree and don't care about what the formula says and the cancer and all that shit, we won't know for years, really, if this works. We'll see the numbers in the community go down, hopefully. And for the rest of y'all, I know what you're already thinking.
Why do you need white man paperwork?
Ooh, you bringing up a good thing, baby. When they start making this band, or right before they make this band, man, they're going to clean everybody out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like people gonna set their whole paychecks up.
People gonna be flipping fucking.
People gonna have all types of
perms.
They're gonna have all types of tubs and shit. They're gonna be like $25 a tub. They're gonna buy them big shits and give you your creamy crack in a grease jar.
Yeah, they're gonna be flipping tubs over there, flipping perms.
Your perm gonna be in a Blue Magic bottle.
You're gonna be in the aisle shopping and be like, man, I don't see the old. Where the old shit at? They can be like, psst, psst, hey, psst, I got that creamy crack.
Meet me around back.
Come here, girl. Yeah, I see it. Your edges. Yeah, come on up to the car section. I got some stash over there. Come around out front. Bring cash, okay?
Cash only. I don't do nothing. The government ain't tracking me.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, you need that Blue Magic? All right, let's move on. Guess the race time.
What time is it?
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
A drunk Florida man was taken to jail for exposing himself to deputies.
Oh.
And it was all caught on body camera video. 40-year-old Sean Madden got arrested on charges of exposure of sexual organs, assault on an officer, disorderly intoxication, alcohol, and resisting an officer without violence following a confrontation on Sunday in a local neighborhood.
Resisting the officer without violence? How is that possible?
You just do I'm not gonna let you cuff me or something like that.
Okay.
Or in his case, pulling his dick out. I mean, nothing make me feel like you resisting faster than pulling your dick out. I'm like,
that's 100% resistance. Okay, I'm with you on that one.
So they received a report of a man acting belligerent and arguing with a woman in the road. When they arrived, they found a shirtless man, later identified as Madden, acting in an aggressive manner, screaming and threatening to fight deputies. How much have you had to drink? A deputy could be heard asking him in the body cam video. Let's go. I'm swinging on everybody, Madden said.
Oh, shit.
To the deputies. What's going on, bud? Can we talk about it? The deputy asked. Talk about what? Madden said. What did I fucking do? Madden continued. I ain't brandishing shit before dropping his pants down, saying, where's my weapon? He feel like his dick isn't weapon. Shortly after the man got on the ground, surrendered to deputies. He was taken to the jail. Released after posting $2,000 bond. Guess the race of Mr. Sean Madden.
White.
Karen is saying white. He's alive white, says Corey. Says cock instead of dick. Peak Florida white. Yeah. Suck my cock, officers. White. Did he say I was dating a black chick? That's how you know white people say chick a lot. White. It looks like everyone's going white. Smaller than average white. As white as the trailer he was fighting in front of.
Oh no.
Oh, white. The correct answer is white. Picture there.
Oh my God. Why does he look like he's an elf?
He like he's giving Blue Steel. He's trying to, I don't know what that look is. And him with his hands up and his crotch blurred out is hilarious. Like, I will what weapon? You call this a weapon?
Yeah, he like he's an elf that was taking a summer vacation, and they was like, "Sir."
Let's go to the next one. Fireworks on the roof may have started massive Atlanta apartment fire. 2 people arrested.
Fireworks on a roof?
Fireworks on the roof.
What?
You know, it's funny. The other day I was in the apartment office picking up some mail, and they were telling this story, and I think they thought it was kind of funny. And I'm not saying it wasn't kind of funny, but I was like, oh boy. But they were like, you know, it was Veterans Day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess some neighbors in our apartment complex was like, do you mind if we shoot fireworks in the complex? Now, shooting fireworks in North Carolina is like illegal anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We also are in the midst of a almost 30-day drought. And so he said, no, you can't do that in the complex. And, you know, it's, you know, because it's illegal, blah, blah, blah. And you can get reported, blah, blah, blah. And then he said, but if you do it, can you just kind of do it, you know, away from any like cars and the buildings and stuff? And I'm like, this the kind of shit that I'm going to be tested. I didn't want to hear this, but I'm like, now I'm going to be testifying when somebody burns down 7 apartment buildings and be like, well, he said he could do it just 2 feet away from the building. And I mean, that's why everything went up like a fucking tinderbox. But luckily nothing happened. And that is, you know, just my luck.
You could have sparked us here, but all you need, because I done seen too many videos. Them bitches go to the left, go to the right, don't go straight up, fucking go through somebody's window, and you got a fucking fire.
Investigators say the fire may have started because of fireworks being lit on the roof. Police detained 2 people and later charged them with criminal damage to property and reckless conduct. Robert Stokes and Charnel Gunn, 43 and 35 respectively, are being held in the Fulton County Jail. Atlanta fire officials told Channel 2 Action News that at 10:36 p.m. Friday, crews received reports of a fire at the Reserve at La Vista Walk Apartments. When crews arrived less than 5 minutes later, they saw heavy smoke coming from the property. More than 80 firefighters worked throughout the night and into Saturday to put the fire out at the building.
Oh no!
Yeah, because if we having a drought, Atlanta's not that far away. They probably got one too.
Right?
Crews were still out of the property working to put out hot spots and likely would be throughout the day. Hundreds of people were evacuated from the building on Friday night. They say 28 are still displaced and being assisted by the American Red Cross.
Right.
17 people were treated for smoke inhalation and minor injuries, and 1 cat died in the fire.
Because you want to put fireworks on a fucking roof. Now I don't have nowhere to stay.
Well, guess the race.
Are they the same race?
They're the same race, yes.
I'm going black.
Karen's going with black on this one. Let me check the chat room and see what they believe. Now that's a fire. Blacker than black. Someone said they killed the cat. That's not a race, but yeah, they killed the cat.
They killed the cat. Yes, they did.
Now that's a fire. Black. Damn. Not y'all stealing each other jokes. Nigga, niggas that were late to the 4th of July. Black is that burnt up building. Black is the smoke. Black. The correct answer is, damn, y'all all went black, huh? Black. Yeah.
Oh,
shout out to her old school hairstyle.
Yeah, she got an old school.
I don't know if it's a wig or not, but man, That's wild. She looked like the aunt that fuck around with them fireworks though.
The cool.
She look like the aunt that be like, give me 2 wine coolers and some fireworks. Let's fucking do this. Definitely the fun aunt.
While she's smoking a cigarette or some weed.
Yeah. Hate to see it. All right. Bonus round.
That the bitch was white! I ain't racist. How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I?
Call them niggas. Just call them niggas.
It's time to get the
Gold
race.
teeth, gold chain
It's
wearing,
time
fried
to get the
chicken
race.
and biscuit
It's
eating,
time
monkey
to get
ate
the race.
baboon, big
It's
dive,
time
fast
to
running,
get the
high
race.
jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree basket.
While inside a haunted house on Halloween night, a Florida man dressed as an FBI agent allegedly struck a victim in the face with a BB gun, claiming that he thought the target was a statue, not a scaring player. The free haunted house was constructed inside the Seminole home of the 47-year-old male victim. An advertiser asked, "Are you brave enough to make it through the manor and get some treats?" The property's front lawn was decorated as a makeshift cemetery. So first of all, this shit was free. You just you wanted people to walk through your house for free, and it's a haunted house. It sounds like the plot to a horror movie.
Right.
Police say Inga Schusser, 20, entered the residence wearing an FBI jacket and body armor and carrying an airsoft gun that resembled a Glock pistol.
Oh. What?
As he moved through the house, Schusser went around a corner to where the victim was standing. While dressed in a costume, the homeowner was not acting as a role player at the time. The 6'4", 210-pound Schusser, cops say, turned away from the victim, grabbed the airsoft gun from a hip holster. He then allegedly struck the victim with the gun's handle, causing significant injury under the victim's eye. So pistol whipped him. Schusser laughed and was not apologetic. He told the victim he thought he was a statue. The defendant then ran out of the home to the victim's front door as the victim followed him to prevent him from leaving. The bloody homeowner was treated at the scene by an EMS worker, while Schusser was arrested by the sheriff's deputies for aggravated battery and possession of a bulletproof vest during the commission of a felony. Trying to be accurate with that motherfucking costume. The gun was seized as evidence. Schusser bonded out of custody Wednesday after posting $15,000 on the felony counts. According to jail records, he works for a machinery company and lives about 4 miles away from the haunted house. Oh, neighbors can't be neighbors no more. Karen, guess the race. White. Karen is going with white for, what's his name? Ingus Schusser. Let's check the chat room, see what they believe. Niggas don't cosplay as police for fun. White. There's some weirdo white shit. White. PBR was involved. Florida man. White. That's a white man. White. Nazi ass name Hitler. You white. White is the FBI letters on the jacket. The correct answer is white. Yeah, this reminds me of how I never finished the movie Let's Be Cops, and I'm sure it's funny. I actually like Damian Wayne, but for some fucking reason, man, the premise of just any black people dressing up as cops for any reason, I was like, not unless it's Mission Impossible and y'all need to infiltrate the Kremlin. I'm not dressing up as no cop. That's how you get extra fucked up. But yeah, that's him. He's white. Y'all got it right. Man, everyone was 100% today.
Yay!
Yeah, I don't think anyone missed any of the guess the race. Congratulations. Thank yourselves. Sword fight. Sword ratchetness time. A cocaine binge ends with a man stabbing his friend with a sword.
Oh, well, damn, how'd it start then? If that's how it ended.
Yeah. This is like the some shit the principal from American Dad would do.
Yeah, yes, that nigga the fucking best.
Principal Brian Lewis.
Yes. Lucy Goosey.
Doing some cocaine.
Yes, I love that character.
A drug addict allegedly assaulted his friend with a sword after he turned paranoid following a 6-day cocaine spree.
6 days.
He told the police he thought the victim was the devil. You know what that reminded me of?
Demons told me to do it. Who told you to do it? The demons.
Joseph Gretsch, 33-year-old Cospicua resident, was arrested on Saturday morning shortly after his friend turned up at the local police station, his right arm bleeding profusely, claiming he had been attacked. When police rushed to the site of the alleged attack, they came across Gretsch seated outside on the steps of the doorway of the resident in Trick Il Madonna Tal Grazja. When they asked him about the incident, he repeated over and over, "I thought he was a devil." It turned out that what if he was a devil? Just for a second. And then he stabbed him, and he really didn't do nothing wrong. Then he turned back to his friend, and the police showed up. He's like, "I don't know what he's talking about." And then when the police turned around, he's like, "'Cause I'm Satan." And they're like, "What'd you say?" "Nothing. I don't know. He's crazy. He's doing cocaine." It turned out the two had been consuming cocaine together when suddenly the accused turned paranoid and struck his friend with a sword. That's what I don't like about the beginning of this article. And I almost said something, but I said, let me finish reading. A drug addict allegedly assaulted his friend. Nigga, they both drug addicts.
They both was high.
Nice try, media, liberal media. Nice try. These niggas they addicted together.
Yes, they are.
Now, I don't think cocaine and swords should mix. I wouldn't own a sword, especially if I did a lot of cocaine. But at the same time, I don't own a sword and I don't do a lot of cocaine. So what am I saying? Sounds like if you into cocaine, you into some bad ideas already. Following the attack, he was taken to police custody and subsequently to the hospital. He was in no state to speak to police at the time. When ultimately declared fit, he opted for his right to silence, explained the prosecutor. On Monday, dressed in a suit, his mother and another relative seated anxiously behind him. The accused pleaded not guilty to grievous bodily harm, assault, as well as insulting and threatening the victim. He was also charged with relapsing. Oh, that's a charge over there?
Oh.
He back on that cocaine? Look like he gotta go to jail. Given the background of the alleged violence, his lawyers requested the court to appoint an expert to run toxicological. All right, close enough. Toxicological test on blood and the necessary hair samples of the accused. The prosecution did not object to Magistrate Mars Ann Ferrugia as she upheld the request. The defense cast doubt on his criminal intent because of the drug-induced paranoia. It couldn't be like a planned crime because it was the drugs that made him be like, I'm killing somebody tonight. Meanwhile, the victim, who's still in the hospital fighting for his life, is still to testify. So they don't want to put this person out on bail until that victim can testify. But he was on cocaine too. What the fuck was he seeing?
Who knows?
He's like, I thought a demon was stabbing me. Shit, I don't know. We both was the devil. So yeah. But the defense lawyer said, look, the dude is in the hospital, so even if my man wanted to stab him, he can't get to him. The mother was also willing to take him into her home as a third-party guarantor. The prosecution added that the accused had admitted that he wanted to kick his drug habit, but was still weak, and if allowed to go back to that particular residence, would likely relapse into further trouble. So the court placed the accused under temporary supervision order under the guidance of a probation officer. So I guess they did let him out of jail, but it ain't looking too good. So listen, all you people out there doing cocaine with your friends on 6-day binges, put the fucking swords away. It's out of control. All right, that's it. We'll talk to you next time. Till then, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Have a good night. Appreciate